Welcome to On-Demand Module 4, Getting Started with Edge Assessment. My name is Angela Terry, National Consultant with National Geographic Learning, and I will be your presenter for this session. This is one of 5 on-demand training modules to help prepare you for using Edge in your classroom. Hopefully you have already viewed modules 1, 2, and 3. If not, you may want to stop this session and view them now. If your school or district has purchased the online coach, be sure to view modules 5, parts 1 and 2 as well. In this session, we will be taking a thorough look at Edge e-assessment. We will begin with the management functions such as managing groups, students, and online test assignments. Next, we'll take a quick look at how the online testing process works. And finally, we'll finish up with a detailed overview of how you can access all of the powerful data e-assessment provides, including the group and student reports and each of the reteaching lessons. With Edge e-assessment, there are 2 testing options that lead to immediate access to your students' progress on the Edge e-assessment site. First, students can take a paper pencil version of the test using the Scan and Score option. The second option is for students to take the test online. The online testing methods offers a student-friendly test format and a secure testing environment. If you will be using the Scan and Score method, make sure you watch the scanning tour after this session. To get started, I first need to log into my Teaching Edge account using my email address and password. Before we dive in, I want to show you where you can access a few documents that will help you work with Edge e-assessment. This help link in the right top corner opens a new window with links to quick start guides, user manuals, and technical documents. The Help screen contains links to a variety of PDFs that provide in-depth information on e-assessment. The first and most convenient tool is the Quick Start Guide, which provides step-by-step directions for using Edge e-assessment. You can access this document right now by pausing the session and clicking on the download links on the left side of the screen. There is also a complete comprehensive user's manual that contains details for every aspect of the Edge e-assessment site. And don't forget about the scanning tool manual if you will be using the Scan and Score testing option. When I'm done with the help screen, I just close that window and I'm back on my welcome page. I'm going to start by clicking on the Manage Groups link. I have 2 more quick things to share before I actually start managing my groups. First, here in the top right corner there are a few additional links besides the help link we just looked at. The resource link and the professional development link both open the appropriate page in a new window. The home link returns me to the Teaching Edge home page, and Sign Out closes the current session and returns me to the Sign In screen. Finally, the Print link changes the screen to a printer-friendly view, and I can use this link to print a page at any time. The second thing I want to point out is this User Information link. In the top left corner, I can click on my name and update the User Information screen as it opens. Here I can update my login, username, password, name, and email address, and when I'm done making my changes, I just click the Update button. If I don't make any changes, I can click the back button or use the main menu to take me where I want to go. The main menu always appears on the left side of the screen and is divided into 3 sections: Student Performance, Groups and e-assessment. This menu helps me quickly navigate through the site. Okay, now we will really dive into the Manage Groups feature. The group is the central organizing tool for EDGE e-assessment. Like a class, groups contain students and have a unique association with you, the teacher. When you first begin using e-assessment, your groups will already be arranged based on the data you submitted in your import file. As you can see, I currently have 3 groups of students, and each group represents a different class period and a different level of EDGE. Even though this was all set up when I first got started, I was actually assigned to teach another level of EDGE during my second period. To set up my new group, I simply click on the New Group button here at the top of the page. When the new group window appears, I only need to fill in the group name field and then click the Create Group button. And now my new group immediately appears in my group list. If I decide I want to make changes to the group name or add any details, I would just click on the pencil icon next to the appropriate group in the Edit column. To add students to my new group or any group, I simply click on the magnifying glass icon in the View column. Now I'm on the Manage Groups page for my new group, and I have 2 students I need to add to this group. As you can see in the group information box, there are 2 buttons for adding students. The Add Students button takes me to the student roster, which includes all students in my school. There are specific directions at the top of the screen that allow you to select multiple students if necessary. But I only need to select Brenda A, so I just clicked on her name, then clicked the Add Students button at the bottom. The other student I need to add is new to the school, so she isn't even in the system yet, so I need to add her. I need to click the New Student button. When the new profile window opens, I need to fill in all of the required fields as indicated by the red asterisks. I also need to make sure I assign my new student to the appropriate level of EDGE. Once all of the information is entered, I click Create Profile. I'm now taken back to the Manage Groups page for my new group, which now includes my 2 new students. I can also easily remove a student from my group by checking the box next to the appropriate student and clicking the Remove button at the top of the column. You can remove 1 or more students from a group without losing their test results. These students, along with their results, may be added to other groups. Now that my group is all set up, it's time for them to take their Unit 1 cluster test. Each assessment must be activated through the Manage Test link on the main menu before students can gain access. When I click on the Manage Tests link, I'm taken directly to the default Manage Tests page. This is a complete list of all of the available assessments for all levels of EDGE. From here, I need to use the drop-down menus to select my group and the type of test I want to assign. Now that I've narrowed down my test choices to the appropriate EDGE level and unit, I have 2 options for each test. First, I can view the test details for the Level A, Unit 1, Cluster 1 test by clicking on the magnifying glass icon in the View Test Details column. From the Test Details page, I can click View Test to open and print a copy of the test, or click View Items to see items one at a time along with their attributes and rubrics. When I'm done with this page, I can use the Manage Test links at the top of the screen to take me right back to where I was. My next option for the Level A Unit 1 Cluster 1 test is to click on the pencil icon in the Activate Assignments column. Now I'm on the assignments page, and from here I can activate the assignment for my Period 2 group by clicking on the clock icon in the Test Window column. This opens the Edit Test window pop-up for the assignment. I can enter the dates manually or click on the calendar icons to choose the start and due dates. This means that the test will only be available for the students to access during this time frame. I can also enter start and end times if I want to limit the online test availability during the day. For example, I might want to make the test available only during my class period. That way, my students can't log on prior to the class and preview the test. If I don't enter a start and end time, the test will be available 24/7 during the testing window I selected. Once I've established my testing window, all I have to do is click the Save button. And right away I see the date and time ranges displayed in the test window column. If necessary, I can use the clock icon to reset the test window at any time. To check on the status of an assignment, I just click on the magnifying glass icon in the View column. On this page, I can quickly check the status of the assignment for all students. The test will be listed as assigned, in progress, submitted, complete, or overdue. When I'm done, I just have to click the assignments link at the top of the page to take me back to my previous page. I can also change the assignment settings for one or more students by clicking the pencil icon in the Edit column. As I said, from here, I can make adjustments to the assignment for one or more students, and detailed directions for doing so are provided at the top of the page. I may have to do this if I know the student is going to be absent the day of the test. That way, the student can't access the test from home. Now, before I send students off to log in and take their first online test, I want to make sure they each know their username and password. By clicking on the Manage Students link on the main menu, I'm taken to the list of all of my students that lists their usernames and passwords. I can print the group list, or I can use the drop-down menu to select a different group of students or all of my students. When I'm done, I'm ready to print, and all I have to do is click the print link in the top right corner. Okay, we have just activated the Level E Unit 1 Reading and Language test for Maylin. So let's take a few moments to see how this looks through her eyes. Obviously, the first thing Maylin has to do is go to hbedge.net and select the Learning Edge. Once here, she clicks on the Take a Test and View Results link on the left and uses the username and password we gave her to sign in. As soon as she is signed in, she will see her test assignment list, and as you can see, she currently only has one test assigned. To take the test, all Maylin has to do is click on the test name, and the test window opens to display the first question. The top banner includes information about the current session, such as the current date, amount of time spent on the test, and the number of questions answered so far. Questions will appear one at a time, and to answer the multiple choice questions, all Maylin has to do is click on the circle next to the best answer. Then she clicks the forward arrow to display the next question. She can also use the back arrow to get back to the previous question. When it's time to answer questions that relate to a reading selection, the full text of the selection is available right next to the question. If Maylin isn't sure about one of the questions and wants to come back to it at the end of the test, all she has to do is check the flag question box. every test contains extended response questions, and to answer these questions, all Maylin has to do is click on the notebook paper and type her response. When she's all done, she clicks on the question status button at the bottom of the page. Here she gets an overview of all of the items in the test. If there are questions that she hasn't completed yet, they will be marked Not Answered in red. As you can see, she flagged question 5, so she can click on that item and she will be taken directly back to that specific question. Once she's completed the test, it's time to save and submit by clicking on the Save Test button in the bottom left corner. The Save Submit pop-up will open again, and Maylin can take one last look to make sure all questions have been answered and all flags have been removed. Now, if Maylin has run out of time, she can simply save the test and come back to it later. But if she's completed the test, all she has to do is click the Submit Test button and her test will be submitted for scoring. When she clicks Submit, she will be returned to the list of assignments, and from here she can see that her test was in fact submitted. Once her test has been submitted, Maylin can open it to review her answers and see which questions she got correct and which ones she missed. She can use the forward arrow to click through each question, or she can click on the question status button to see a complete list like you see here. Now, as soon as I assign rubrics to each of Maylin's extended response questions, she can access her results from this same page by clicking the View Results tab. Since Maylin's test had a few extended response questions, let's walk through the process of assigning a rubric score. From the main menu, I'm going to click on the Add Rubric Scores link. This will take me to the Scores Items page, and on this page I see a list of all of the students who have submitted a test with a written response item. Since Maylin is the only one who has taken this test so far, she is the only one in my list. The list will continue to grow as students take more and more tests, so as time goes on, you can use the drop-down menus at the top of the page to select which tests you want to add scores for. You can see easily the items which need scoring by the red score on the top of the screen. And when I click on this score link, I can see the question and Maylin's response. I can also access the selection text directly from this page. At the top of the page, I can click on the View Rubric button and the pop-up of the rubric opens. When I've made my decision, I just select the rubric score from the drop-down menu at the top and click Save and Close if I don't have any more to grade, or Save and Go to the next if I have more to score. If I ever need to change a rubric score, I can always use the Quick Score option by just selecting the score from the drop-down menu. I can also use this option if the student actually has written their response on paper as opposed to typing them onto the computer. Once logged into the Teaching Edge site, the first thing Ms. Morales does is click on the View Student Performance link in the main menu. That link takes her directly to the Groups at a Glance page. The Groups at a Glance table displays the averages for each group of students. As you can see, Ms. Morales currently has one group of students, her Period 1 Level B group. If Ms. Morales starts working with another level or unit of Edge, she will use the drop-down menu at the top of the page to select the level or unit she wants to work with. Right now, Mrs. Morales doesn't want to look at her online coach data, so to hide that, she simply unchecks the box next to Online Coach. Once she does that, she is now only looking at the group data for the cluster and unit tests. To drill down, Mrs. Morales clicks on the group name. Now we're at the Students at a Glance page. But before she looks at the data for the cluster and unit tests, Mrs. Morales wants to review her students' placement test data, so she checks the box next to the placement test. The placement test data is now in the first column of the table, and to get more details on the placement test data, Ms. Morales clicks View in the Average Group Results row. The performance summary displays the number of items each student got correct as well as their Lexile level, and below is an EDGE placement guide. Ms. Morales wants to take a more detailed look at Saba Berzan's score, so she just clicks on her name. She's taken to her student performance report. This performance summary identifies each item Saba got correct. It also displays her Lexile level. Using the placement guide below, Ms. Morales determines that Saba should be placed into EDGE Level B. However, if Ms. Morales didn't have a group of students who fell into the Level B category, she could have placed her into Level A based on the fact that her Lexile level is so close to the beginning of Level B and fits into Level A. The statement below the EDGE placement guide explains the overlapping EDGE levels, leading to flexibility when placing students. Now let's look at the Level B data for Ms. Morales' students by clicking the Students at a Glance link in the main menu. From the Students at a Glance page, Ms. Morales first unchecks the placement test box to remove that data from the page. Now she can focus on the Cluster 1 test performance for the group by clicking on the average group score of 74%. At the top of the Cluster Test Performance Group report, the overall performance table displays average test scores for the group and for individual students. Ms. Morales can easily see which students did not master the skills on the cluster test by the red percentage scores. Anytime a student scores below mastery, or 75%, the score will appear in red. As Ms. Morales scrolls down the page, she comes to the Reteaching Option table, where students who have not mastered specific skills are grouped together. The Reteaching Options table lists each reporting category that was tested on that assessment, the students who did not master each of those categories, and a list of materials and links to online teaching resources for each unmastered skill. Now there is no need for Ms. Morales to go searching for a lesson or activity to reteach each specific skill. She simply has to click on the PDF links to download the reteaching lessons. The reteaching lessons will open in a new window, and they can be saved and printed for easy access. Some of the reteaching lessons will be the same, no matter which unit you're working with, but if that's the case, there will always be multiple options for students to practice the skill. Now Ms. Morales wants to take a detailed look at Saba's cluster test score, and she can do that by clicking on her name anywhere on this screen. Once she clicks on her name, Ms. Morales is taken to the cluster test student's performance page. At the top, she sees her overall test score, which is followed by a detailed summary of her performance of the test. As you can see, the table looks very similar to the Reteaching Options table we just looked at, with the reporting categories listed, as well as her performance on each specific item and the number of points she received in each category. If she didn't master a certain reporting category, her points will be displayed in red. And finally, the specific reteaching lessons that apply to SAVA are listed in the prescriptions column. Now Ms. Morales is going back to the group reporting page by clicking on the back button at the top of the screen. There is one more important report available from this page, the Item Analysis Report listed here on the right side of the screen under View Related Reports icon. But before we move to the Level C data, Ms. Morales wants to see how her Level B students did on their first unit test. So she clicks the back button again and is taken back to Students at a Glance page. The multiple choice item analysis table displays the number of students who selected each answer choice and the average percent correct for each multiple choice item on the test. For example, if you look at item number 10, you can see that 11 of Ms. Morales' students selected the same incorrect answer. If she wants to know what this question is so she can make sure to reteach those students, all she has to do is click on the item number and the question pops up. Now, Ms. Morales is ready to look at the Reading and Literacy Unit test data, so she clicks on the back link at the top of the page. And just like she did with the cluster test, all Ms. Morales has to do is click the average group score of 65% to get to the unit test performance page. As you can see, the page is arranged exactly the same way we just saw on the cluster test report. That's one of the great things about Edge e-assessment. Once you know how to read one report, you pretty much know how to read them all. As she scrolls down, Ms. Morales gets to the Reteaching Options table, and this time she wants to see how Cesar performed, so she clicks on his name. And again, the report looks the same as it did for SAVA's cluster test report. However, over here on the right, under the View Related Reports icon, Ms. Morales has access to a student cumulative unit test performance report. As students move through the units, Ms. Morales can easily monitor their progress in each reporting category from unit to unit. You may have already noticed this box right here in the upper right corner, but just in case you haven't, this is the information box that identifies key information so you can always easily see what data you are looking at. Here, the overall test score by unit table displays the student's percent score on each unit in a bar graph so Ms. Morales can quickly see that Cesar is making progress. And finally, the scores by unit and reporting category table displays Cesar's performance in each tested reporting category, followed by the percent score for each unit test. And remember, any score below 75% displays in red. Now Ms. Morales wants to look at a grammar and writing unit test, so she can return to the Students at a Glance page by clicking the link in the main menu. By clicking on the average group score in the Grammar and Writing Unit Test column, Ms. Morales is taken to the Unit Test Performance page. And again, you see it looks like the same as the reports she's already been working with. As she scrolls down, there are the reteaching tables. But this time she notices that not all of the reteaching prescriptions are PDF links. The only reteaching lessons that are not PDFs are those you would use for reteaching grammar. These reteaching lessons are found in the Grammar and Language Lab and the Grammar and Writing Practice Book. Now, as she continues to scroll down the page, Ms. Morales also has access to the Group Mastery and Rubric Scores table. Students are listed along with their scores on the overall test. Overall test scores below 75% display in red. For skills tested by multiple choice items, a plus sign indicates that the student has mastered the skill. A minus sign indicates that the student needs further work on the skill. Mastery is achieved when a student scores 75% or higher for that skill. Rubric scores display for holistically scored items. Low rubric scores are in red. Ms. Morales clicks on Cesar's name again to see how he did, and she's taken to his student report for the grammar and writing unit test. Okay, now Ms. Morales wants to look at a few other reports for the group, so she clicks on the Students at a Glance link in the main menu once more. Once on the Students at a Glance page, Ms. Morales needs to check the box next to the English Language Gains tests. And since this is the only assessment she wants to focus on, she can also uncheck the Cluster and Unit Test box. Here, Ms. Morales can click on the average group results in either the first or the latest column. With this assessment, the score report will be the same no matter which score she chooses. The English Language Gains Test Performance Group report displays two simple bar graphs at the top that show the average scale score by the test, first or latest, and the distribution of students by English language proficiency level, again broken down by the first and latest administration. So here, Ms. Morales can see that the first time she administered the English Language Gains test, her students were split between an English proficiency level of 3 and 4. But after this latest administration, most of them are at a proficiency level of 4, and some of them are even at a proficiency level of 5. The summary table breaks down of students' proficiency levels in both English language and written composition. And the scale score of proficiency level by student chart breaks down the same summary information by individual student level. Here again, Ms. Morales would like to see how Cesar performed, so she clicks on his name. And now she's taken to the student comparison report. Here in the summary table, Ms. Morales can click on the test date, and she is taken to Cesar's individual student report. Okay, now Ms. Morales has one more assessment to look at, so she clicks on the Students at a Glance link one last time. And once she's there, she checks the Reading Level Gains test box and unchecks the English Language Gains test box. And just like the English Language Gains data, Ms. Morales can click on either of the average group results to get the group report. At the top of the page, a bar graph represents the group's average baseline score, which could be from the placement test or another Lexile measure, and the first and the latest gains test averages. As Ms. Morales scrolls down, the summary table gives her a snapshot of the group's latest gains tests compared to their first and their baseline and their Lexile measure. Student table displays each student's scores and the gains they've made so far. Ms. Morales wants to check on Sava's progress, so she clicks on her name, and her student comparison report is displayed. Okay, now that we've seen all of the fantastic informative reports you will have access to, I just want to remind you that no matter how you decide to administer your EDGE assessments, these results will be available for you immediately. If you're going to be using Scan and Score option, be sure to watch the scanning video and download the Scan Tool Manual from the help link. Congratulations, you've almost completed the 4th on-demand module for EDGE. In this session, I walked you through all of the management features on the EDGE e-assessment site. We also looked at the online testing feature from students' perspective and learned how to add rubric scores when necessary. And finally, we took a detailed look at all of the reports and reteaching lessons available on EDGE e-assessment. And remember, most of the reports are the same, so if you can read one, you can read them all. Here are some next steps for you to think about before your next session. Print a copy of the EDGE eAssessment Quick Start Guide and keep it handy when you're working within the site. If you are administering the test online, activate your student's next test, and if you're using Scan and Score, be sure to watch the scanning video. Be sure to contact technical support if you have any questions or if issues arise. Thank you for attending, and don't forget to check the Attachments tab on the left side of the screen for your certificate of completion.